What's going on, Instagramly and friends and YouTubers all across the globe? If you're tuning in, this is Talented Tuesdays, airing every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on your Instagram live station. My name is QuiySpeaks, aka 215-305, aka Mr. 1837, aka King Cheney. I give you the AKAs all the time. I ain't ashamed, but this is Talented Tuesdays. I got my man Art over here. He gonna be playing some keys for y'all. But before I get into that introduction, I want to give y'all the housekeeping, just like I usually do. The comment section below. Let's keep that positive, keep the negativity out of here. We want people to feel comfortable with, asking questions, giving some feedback without ridicule or anything like that. Also, if you miss an episode of Talented Tuesdays, you can always check it out on our YouTube channel at QuiySpeaks TV on YouTube, and you can feel free to see all past episodes of Talented Tuesdays and more, some poetry, everything like that. But without further ado, that's really all the housekeeping that I had. So we're gonna kick it. I'm gonna kick the floor to my man Art over here, introduce himself, tell a little bit about where he's from, how he got to where he is right now.
All right, Arthur Dunk. I'm from Broward County, Florida, Sunrise, Florida to be exact. My family is mainly from Jamaica, and I'm in school for marketing, and I also am very passionate about music and playing music.
So what would you say, because being passionate about something is a very strong way of putting it. So how would you say, what built your passion to the music, and what made you so strongly opinionated towards music?
Okay, so I really would give a lot of that to my dad. Just growing up, he would have a lot of great music playing in the house or on road trips, gospel, oldies, R&B, country. Like, there's a lot of different genres and great compositions, qualities of music. So I always just enjoyed music, but I actually didn't start playing piano and get into music until the age of 12. But it's just always, I guess, been in me.
Okay.
Before then.
Yeah, music is easy music just take control of our lives easily, because it's so easy to feel the vibes of music, and you just hear one good tune and all of a sudden you're attracted to that for the rest of your life. So for those that are just tuning in, I see y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Talented Tuesdays. Feel free to ask us questions. As I'm asking questions to Art, you can always log on and ask some questions. And feel free to make some comments too. Share the love. Don't forget to share and subscribe to our page as well. But next question. Were you how long did it? I know you told me earlier you went on a little hiatus. So how long were you playing piano, and then how long was that hiatus? What was the cause for that hiatus? And then when did you pick it back up?
Okay, so I started playing the piano at the age of 12. I started taking lessons from the music director at my church, and was learning a lot, learning the fundamentals of reading, learning how to play a few songs, but in general I had a really big passion for basketball. Like, from the age of 2, started playing at 7, middle school, high school. So I was really passionate about basketball, and I didn't have a passion about music at the time. It was pretty cool. I would learn different things, but I got to a point where I was actually going through the motion in lessons, and I didn't see myself having that drive to learn. And the teacher could do so much, but the student has to be receptive,
dedicated, and everything like that,
and practice at home, have that consistency. So I wasn't doing that, and I was losing the passion. So I was like, I'm not gonna get much better at music. So I basically quit at the age of 14. That's going into high school. Started playing for high school, and I couldn't do lessons anymore because my practices were 6 days a week.
Ball is life.
Yeah, at the time. So, basically, at the end of my 9th grade year, I broke my left wrist, so I couldn't play basketball anymore for that summer. So, not being able to do that, I was at the house with a little keyboard my cousin got me, and I was just messing around. I had a cast on that was covering my thumb, but I had my 4 fingers open, and I would just mess around on YouTube, looking up different songs. And one of the songs that I learned was Ordinary People by John Legend through a tutorial. So I memorized that, and then I was like, maybe that was like God telling me, use all your talents and don't just let it fall by the wayside. So from there, I just learned different songs I always wanted to learn, memorizing it. And then the next year, at 16 is where that summer I really, learned different things online, just studied the music theory behind it. And I learned all 12 major scales. And from there, I was like, I'm actually passionate about it. And then, that was the start of the passion, I'd say. So 16.
You learned like from a tutorial, like how to play Ordinary People on a tutorial. So did you see like certain keys that they were playing?
Yeah, he just he talked about the keys, like these are the keys you're playing, stuff like that. And that's good. Like a lot of people learn that way. But what I was saying is, and I was actually able to reach out to him through YouTube. I was like, it was recently too, like maybe 2-3 years ago. And so it's over years of developing. And I was like, I appreciate him because that was, he probably just put that video up, just putting it up, not knowing the impact. But that was like the first hard, song. It was real difficult to me at that time that I was able to learn and I liked. And, I told him how that was very impactful in my journey, my musical journey. So, he was able to see my new videos on YouTube and was like, yeah, glad I could help, and you're really great now. So around that time as well, my sister started taking videos on YouTube of me playing, and I kind of launched that. I was going into my junior year, so I kept up with that.
Yeah, we got some questions. We got some questions already for you. So one of the questions, Herson asked, "Do you know how to read?" Yeah, Herson on here. You know how to read music?
Yeah, I actually, I give piano lessons, and I teach the fundamentals of reading, the rhythms, the notes, the right hand and the left hand, which is the treble clef and the bass clef. And basically, it's not necessarily hard to read music.
I beg to differ.
No, wait, no. All right. So it's just like, what I would say is I'm not the best sight reader, like just reading anything, but I know what the notes are. I know what the rhythms are. And I'm able to teach that and allow people to be able to hone that in. So basically what I always tell my students and what I've learned is with reading, it's just like reading words. So in letters, like you don't know these words at first, but through reading it, we all read every day, but you don't necessarily read music every day. So you got to build that consistency. But the first thing is just learning the rhythms, and then also learning. There's an acronym. There's a clue for this is the first thing I teach for the treble clef and the bass clef, and it varies from different teachers, but for the lines it's every good boy does fun. So the letter
sounds familiar.
Yeah, maybe like
middle school, a while back, right?
Yeah, so as you go up, that's the letters E, G, B, D, F. Every good boy deserves fun or fudge. So, and then space rhymes with face, so FACE for the spaces of the staff. So, it's attainable, but you definitely have to do it on a consistent basis. I'm not in a position where I have to do that as much. Like I teach lessons. When I teach lessons online, basically I'm teaching more so the theory behind it, more so than just reading. But when I teach in person, I have a book that I teach from, as well as
so you're really pretty comfortable with reading music to where like you don't even have to think about it all the time to where.
I'm saying I'm not, because I don't. It depends. It depends the difficulty. Like simple things, yeah. But
because this is my thing. My thing is a lot of the notes look the same, but how can the notes look the same if I'm playing a different instrument? Because like you could be playing piano, you can be playing the drums, the trumpet, whatever. These are, you got a piano, then you have the drums, and then you have a trumpet, which is a wind instrument. But then yet the music still looks, the notes still look the same. So like, how can you, any words that you could help other people understand how that even works?
Well, what you're saying with the drums and piano and woodwind, yeah, like basically, it's going back to what I was saying about rhythm. So that's something like I really honed in here when I took a few jazz courses in 2015 and 2016. Jazz is very rhythmic, so they taught me how to read, a lot of different rhythms. There's your, basic quarter note, which means one beat. I'm gonna teach music, so you have like one beat, right? So it goes one and, right? So that's a full like one beat. But then within there you can have eighth notes, which is one and. So like you're playing on each of those beats. So that, basically. Yeah, you're playing on both of those beats. So it's two within the one. And then you have triplets, which is triplet. So it's three within the one. Then you got 16th notes, one E and the. So it's four within the one. So that's what I really learned in jazz, and that's how it can relate with piano, drums, because you'll play da 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 da, triplet.
So we got some folks asking about your YouTube page. Give yourself a shout out. What's your YouTube page?
Definitely do that. So it's Music Express with a Q. You can also just search Arthur Dunk, and different videos will pop up. I put up different videos showing the software that I have that lights up every note. So you're able to basically showcase, but also you're able to see exactly what the notes I'm playing. I have different church songs on there, hymns. I have whatever I'm inspired by at the time. I have a Super Mario Brothers theme. So on that, I put
song.
Yeah, and I put a theme and added different variations to it. When You Wish Upon a Star. I have a J. Cole intro cover, and that did very well. It's like at 15,000 views. And a tutorial. I have a tutorial for that as well. So that's like at 10, 12,000 views. Yeah.
Oh man.
Now actually one more. not even. So it's like those cover videos.
Right.
Yeah. And then I also did a cover to my favorite artist of all time, who is Donny Hathaway. He actually wrote This Christmas. Everybody who knows This Christmas, he is the original.
So is that your favorite song also?
No. It's a song called A Song for You that, yeah, if you heard it, you probably know it. But my dad would sing it to me and my sister a lot when we were little, so it was always stuck with me, and I learned it probably 3 years ago and did the cover. So that one did really well as well. It did like 12,000 views.
So that was one of the questions also on here. Deja asked how you and Q meet. we literally just met. Like, this was our first time formally meeting, but I reached out to Art through a mutual friend of ours. He was telling me, hey, I know this really dope musician. You should, if you're looking for talent, this was in the earlier phases of Talented Tuesdays getting started out. So I reached out to him, and I was doing some research on his page to see how the music was going for him. So definitely had the talent. So I was like, I gotta get him on the show, and you're the first pianist on the show as well. So trying to add the diversity of different talents to get on the show. So that played a big part too. And Deja also asked another question: are you interested in learning any other instruments?
I like the drums because back to the rhythm. Just singing jazz and church as well, like how important rhythm is. Just honing that in, and also being able to, get into production. Like you got to know different drum patterns. So yeah, I really didn't know anything about drums at all until probably 2 years ago.
For me, I feel like the drums, it's a great instrument to learn. It's a great first one. Is one of the great first instruments to learn because you don't really have to learn how to read music to play the drums because of the fact that it's so easy to play by sound. Like I played the drums all through middle school and a little bit of high school, and I never learned how to read music. I only played through sound, and it's as long as you have that rhythm and you can hold the beat, the drums can be really easy to play.
A lot of musicians, they usually start, especially in church, they start on drums first. A lot of piano players, they start on drums first, then piano, move over. But I was like one of the only ones who just
went
straight
right to piano because
piano.
That's boss stuff. That's some boss level stuff.
But I realized I needed to work on rhythm, and there's always different things to grow in. So once I started taking classes in jazz, I was able to see how much more there's out there to learn. And back to the reading question, in high school, we'd have different pieces that for the high school chorus, junior and senior year, that she would have us sing, and I was the piano player for it. So what I would do is, I wouldn't have to worry about looking at the sheet, messing up or anything. I would read, I would learn it. So that goes back to what I was saying. I'll take time and I could read this stuff, but just sightseeing it and reading it right there, like I said, you have to do it consistently. But what I would do is I would read it, learn it, memorize it for the different performances. Because also, like, I remember at different districts or different performances, they would usually have an adult who would play, and they would have a page turner, and if the page turner wasn't keeping up, you hear them, it'll stop. Like they'll mess up because they don't know it by memory or by ear. So I feel it's very important to have a little bit of both, reading it and playing by ear, and the theory behind what you're playing. So it's not even two, it's like three.
So like the theory behind what you're playing, you mean like kind of getting attached to it emotionally?
No.
What do you mean by that?
I'll talk about not even the notes, but okay. All right, so these different chords, they have names like all right. Can I demonstrate a little bit?
Just demonstrate.
All right, so here we have do simple. If you have your scale, which is for C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, the numbers would be, and once you like throw in numbers, it starts being theory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C is going to be your 1 again. All right, so you'll take the 1, the 3, and the 5, and you play those together, and that's going to give you a chord. It's going to give you a major chord. It's going to give you a major chord, which gives you a bright sound, a happy sound. As soon as you lower the third note in the chord, it's a different sound. Now it's a minor sound. It's a sad sound. All right, once you already have it minor, and then you flatten the 5th note, now it's diminished, which is like a scary sound. It's like for scary movie. So that's some basic, and then you can expand that. So that's the major. Now this would be the major 7. So it's a major chord, but adding an extension to what you already have. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the last note, and you're playing it along with the major chord. So that's why it gets its name.
Okay.
So that's the theory.
That's the theory. Okay,
yeah. So by ear is really like you should use a combination, but by ear is you're listening to the music, you're picking out what's going on, and you playing it note for note.
Okay.
But theory, it helps to like figure out why you're playing the different notes. So, I think it's essential to have a little bit of all three: the reading, ear, and theory.
And the theory.
Yeah. So I definitely like to teach my younger students that, so they're just well-rounded. Give them everything I know.
For those who just tuned in, I see a lot of people joining in. Thanks for tuning in to Talented Tuesdays. This is Arthur Dunk. He's a pianist and pianist, or whatever you want to call it, keyboard. He took a hiatus for a little bit. So at the age of 14, he kind of quit playing piano, kind of quit music, and was focusing on sports and everything like that. That's a similar story for a lot of us. And after a while, he got back into it and realized that he had a real talent with playing the keyboard. So here he is now on Talented Tuesdays, showing off his talent and telling us a little bit about music and telling us a little bit about reading music, as you just heard. So that's a little bit about art. So the next question that we had was, what are some of the long-term goals that you have set for yourself in terms of music?
All right, so definitely want to continue my lessons that I do in person and through Skype and the software called Zoom, because through that I'm actually able to teach people around the country and also around the world. I've been able to teach people in Brazil, Australia, Cuba, Africa, and looking to continue. So doing that, as well as launching a piano lessons website where I'll have different courses and content that I'll release on the website that people can purchase, as well as subscribe to a membership on a monthly basis. And I've actually been able to talk to different individuals who were able to be successful doing piano websites.
That's
so
big.
Yeah, that's definitely a passion of mine, is the teaching aspect of music, teaching people, especially on a one-on-one level, seeing people get inspired, see people get that aha moment,
that development too. Wow. Let's hear another. I got that's one of the comments we got on there. Let's hear it. You mind the encore? You got anything else that you want?
All right, I'll do another one in the same vein.
Okay.
So,
all right.